best software training institution. So today in this video we are going to see another Terraform output video on the series. So now today the video is going to be get the private and public IP address of the instances. So for now, so what are we going to do is that so we're going to get the private and public IP address of the instances. So now, so what is Terraform output? We have already seen in the last video. If you have not watched in the last video, please go and watch it. So what are we going to do is that so the Terraform output is something like it's going to expose the value of the information about the resources managed by Terraform. Okay, so now we are going to see another very interesting so interesting scenario. Okay, so for example, you are using Ansible. Okay, you're working on Terraform. So Terraform will provision the infrastructure, right? So in the same way, you wanted to automate. You wanted to run some automation scripts using all the hundreds of instances at the same time using Ansible. Okay, how are we going to get the public IP address of the instances whichever is already been provisioned? Okay, for example, I have through Terraform I have created hundreds of instances. Okay, so how are we going to get all the instances IDs? Okay, instances public IP addresses. Okay, so we'll see this one here. Now today this is my EC2 instance. Okay, so this is my EC2 instance which has been created. Okay, which is there in the last video. We have seen that so the instance is created, right? So now today what are we going to see is that we are going to get the public IP address and private IP address of these instances, and we are going to we are going to save those IP addresses into some file. Okay, now what are we going to do is that we are going to see the Terraform. Okay, so now in the output you can see there is a two outputs are there. One is instance type, another one is AMI, right? So it's been already been applied. So Terraform, if we do Terraform plan. Okay, so if you go to Terraform plan, it's going to be refreshing state. Okay, so the ID it's showing like this, right? So infrastructure is successful. Infrastructure is up to date. So now let's go on Terraform apply. Yeah, so instance is not created yet. Okay, now let's see. Let's go on to do the Terraform apply and see what's going to be happening here. Okay, so whenever I'm doing Terraform apply, it's showing the AMI ID of this one, and instance type is equal to t2.micro. All right, so now, oh yeah, okay, so which means that instances the Terraform instance is already been instance already been created with this one. Okay, so we have already seen in this last video. Now what are we going to do is that I'm going to get the public IP address of these instances. Okay, I have one instance. The instance name is AWS instance and cloud institution. Now I'm going to output. Okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy and paste the same thing. Okay, so copy and paste the same thing. Now here in the output, what I'm going to see is that so I'm going to change the value of public IP. Public IP. All right. So instance type instead of EC2 public IP. Okay, here instead of instance type, I'm going to change. Okay, so now if you wanted to if you're getting confused, I'm going to show it from the beginning. Okay, so what you're going to do is that you're going to do from output. So the name is going to be EC2 public IP. All right, okay, EC2 public IP. Okay, so now description is not required, but so we can just give public IP, public IP of EC2. Okay, now the value is going to be, so the value is going to be, what is the value? So we need to copy this EC2 instance, AWS instance underscore cloud hyphen institution. Okay, now EC2 underscore instance dot, okay, EC2 underscore instance dot cloud hyphen institutions, cloud hyphen institution. Okay, cloud hyphen institution, right? So this is what is going to be showing me is going to get the public IP. Okay, the public IP, right? So now let's go and do Terraform apply and see so whether we'll be able to get the public IP address of this instance, whatever has been created. Okay, so could not be defined in the root module. So EC2 instance cloud hyphen institution is not been defined in the declared in the root module. So I think we have done something wrong. Okay, so now let's go and see EC2 underscore instance. oh sorry, AWS underscore instance. It's not EC2 underscore instance. It's going to be AWS underscore instance. Okay, that's why it was not working. AWS underscore instance. Okay, now it should be working now, right? So these are all the small things you should be understanding. You should be referencing the proper you know proper terms. Now it's working. So it will be getting the, see, it's telling that the public IP of this instance is going to be 54.19234.17. Okay, so I'm going to give yes, right? So because infrastructure has already been created, it's going to be giving you that elastic, the EC2 public IP. All right, okay, so now this is what it's going to be showing. Okay, all right, so now, okay, so now what are we going to do is that let's also go and create a private IP. So what are we going to do for private IP? You can go here and then click on here, then click on private underscore IP. Okay, this is the public IP and this is going to be getting the private IP. Okay, now I'm going to give the Terraform apply. Okay, so now it's going to be, so here we need to change the reference, right? It's going to be like private IP, and then here also I'm going to give private IP of each instance. Okay, now it's going to apply. Okay, so I'm going to give yes, so now it's going to be given the private IP and then it's going the public IP of the instances whatever it has been created. Okay, so this is how we will be getting the output of your instances. Now what we can do is that we go and save this output into, so some of the newer some of the outputs, right? So output file. So now let's say for example output.txt, so Terraform apply. If you can do like this, it will be going to show, is going to copy, and all the Terraform output, whatever is output is going to get, is going to be saving all the output. Okay, so Terraform output.txt, output.txt. Now it's showing me all the junk values also, right? So all the other values also. Now how do we get only the specific things? Now instead of Terraform apply, what we can do is that Terraform output. Okay, if you can do Terraform output, it's going to be removing these things and it's going to be adding only the the necessary output, whatever the information we are getting. All right, so now, so what is the purpose of recording this information like this here? So now tomorrow if you wanted to go and create a, so for example you have hundreds of instances. If you want to create a automation through Ansible, you need a public IP address of the instance, right? So if you want to install some Apache package through Ansible, you'll be requiring like a private IP and public IP address of the instances. So now instead of getting, so instead of going to the console and getting the IP addresses, what we can do is we can get the output and then we can just grep all the output to the file. So now we can just do the automation from here itself. We can just do the grep from here and then we can just get the IP addresses. We can do the automation. Okay, this is the real-time scenario for this purpose. All right, so hope this video is really helpful for you to prepare, to prepare for your Terraform courses. And if you go for interview, this kind of questions is really helpful for you. Okay, so if you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to had your questions in the below comments. I'll be happy to answer to you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you again in the next video.